Uh, I'm Victor Mosley, the counseling session. This is recording about the initial setting for to for a prospective client in need of counseling services. Now, I'm from the state of Kentucky, and I've downloaded a Kentucky initial counseling form, and it has quite extensively things that are required to inform the potential client up front as far as purpose and background, the purpose and goals of the treatment, whether the treatment can help a client or even through changes to a client's behavior, result in the client being able to better their lives, or let's say, worst case, it may harm their lives. And these statements are in the counseling form that's given to the initial client up front. Confidentiality, of course, is very critical as well, as the patient and the counselor, the sessions will remain private, but there are exceptions applicable under under the law, that if there's any harm, anything like that, or any sexual abuse, or any criminality, that the client must understand the patient is obligated to report that to the proper authorities. HIPAA, of course, is critical. HIPAA is where the client is understand that these counseling sessions are private and their privacy rights must be respected. The counseling fees and the length of the sessions are, of course, known up front. Whereas a session may cost $125, let's say, for an hour, or $50 for half an hour. The client will know all these fees and state it very clearly up front. Attendance, a client must be made aware that the counselor's time is just as valuable as the patient's time. And if any situations that may arise where a client needs to cancel an appointment, the client will given the cancellation policy of the counselor that such and such, but however amount of time, or a day's notice, or 2 days notice, or however amount of time that the counselor deems necessary in order for the counselor to readjust their schedule, the client must let the counselor know this in order for not any adverse effects to be affected to the counselor's time or the patient's time. The contact information, of course, that being said, will be given to the potential client up front. Where the location of counseling will take place, a phone number to call in case there's any discrepancies, or locations, or places that are hard to find or unknown, that the counselor potential client may be directed to the location. The Of course, the education and the credentials of the counselor are very important, and the potential client will be notified of all the counselor's credentials and any associations that the counselor may be a member of. So, and these things are critical because experience belies competence, and a potential client must know that the counselor they are engaging as far as their treatment goes is a competent professional. The services offered, there may be family and marriage therapy, it may be adolescent counseling, it may be drug and alcohol treatment, but the client must be informed of what this counseling session is going to be about, and what the counselor is more or less an expert in. Counseling process and a probe, where the potential client will be notified that these things do occur, and the approach to counseling will be, we may uncover things that may be unpleasant, or may cause pain, or may cause a potential client to stop associating with the people that the client was associating with, because through the counseling sessions, it may be uncovered that a potential client is hurting themselves by associating with certain groups of people, and a counselor may come to point that out. In the complaints, of course, the client will be given all necessary information to report a counselor to a state board that regulates the behavior of counselors. So that will be given to the client up front as well. So all these things are necessary. And as far as my scholarly source is from a journal where the topic is consent to treatment off a scholarly website, A Patient's Right, A Therapist's Duty by Ingrid Pagua, 2011. Again, consent to treatment, a patient's right, a therapist's duty. And all these things are necessary because the counselor must inform the patient that everything that they do, must be, you have an ability to be challenged. And through the state board of regulations, that it is in compliance with that and with the ACA's code of ethics as far as each section that the counseling forms came from, where I could point out section A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H of the ACA Code of Ethics, where the counseling relationship goes, confidentiality and privacy, professional responsibility, relationships with other professionals, evaluation, assessment, and interpretation, supervision, training, and teaching, research and publication, and distance counseling technology and social media, and resolving ethical issues. So all these things are covered in the ACA Code of Ethics and the therapist form that I downloaded from the internet. I thank you for your time, and this is my discussion board Form 1 video forum. Thank you.